Books aren't made of pages and words. They're made of hopes, dreams, and possibilities.
Hello everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we're gonna take a closer look at some kind of a special training room video in which we're gonna face 7 Draculas against 7 Helsing. In order for us to do that correctly, I just want to first remind you one or two things about both of those tanks for those of you who don't have a clue what those are, because sometimes it happens. The first one is the Dracula. It's basically a tier 7 medium tank that has the mobility of a light tank, a lot of gun depression and literally no armor, which makes it a good tank in open maps and on every single maps in this game that requires actual gun depression to work on. So it's an effective tank on heals and all these kind of stuffs. On the other hand, we have the Helsing. You don't have the best mobility, you're still quite mobile, don't mind me, a fully traversable turret for a tank destroyer, and a 2-shot clip, which is instant. I mean, in less than 0.2 seconds, you will fire your 2 shots. Therefore, your accuracy is not the best, as your first shot is probably gonna go where you're aiming, but the second one is a little bit random. Also, the Helsing has an amazing armor profile, as it's quite bouncy. It's not armored, but quite bouncy thanks to its huge gun mantlet and the fact that your upper plate is extremely angled as well. So it can be a good tank to literally troll people when they fire. So in this video we are going to see which one of the Dracula or the Helsing is going to do the best in a 7 versus 7 game. Concerning the first game, we are not watching my point of view in Dracula because I died like a bot, but we are watching Snake Toast, which is a low-cap player, so he knows how to play, don't worry. And you're gonna see he's gonna do an amazing stuff at the end of the game, which is worth watching. You're gonna see by yourself. What is the main advantage the Dracula has over the Helsing? It's probably the gun depression and the mobility. That's why all the Draculas, in order for them to win, need to get into a position from which they have the gun depression to shoot the Helsing, whereas the Helsing doesn't have that gun depression. On this map, the best way for them to go is probably where Snake is at the moment, but it feels like the Helsing are trying as well to get it there. And the problem is, with the Dracula not having any single millimeter of armor, it's gonna be really hard for them to catch up with the Helsing if they find any places that allows them to sneak their shots. And that's something Snake understood pretty easily, and that's why he tried to go away. He took only 1 shot from the Helsing here, he got quite lucky. As I told you, your gun in the Helsing is gonna troll you every time you're firing this second shot because it's an instant autoloader, but it's not gonna stop Snake because he knows how to play. He also knows that the Helsing turret traverse rate and turn rate is really poor. Therefore, as long as you manage to get an Helsing on an open field and you just circle it, you're 100% sure to destroy it. If you take a look at the map, you can see that those Draculas are pushing on the other side, on the right side, and Snake saw it, and that's why he's going straight in. He took a huge shot from the Helsing, but it's not a problem. This Helsing is in an open field, he just has to circle it and it's done. He did not get the Helsing yet, he wants to focus on the low life to win that game, and just look at this. Boom, boom, 2 kills in 1 second. What an amazing thing to do. We were all laughing in the training room when we did that. It cost him his life, but oh gosh, was it worth it. And that's pretty much how the Draculas won on this map. To sum up, what you can learn from this game is that when you're in a Dracula versus Helsing situation, the Dracula is probably gonna win if the Helsing are in either a position that doesn't allow them to use their gun depression, or they are in an open field, because as soon as the Dracula is behind the Helsing, it's literally over for the tank. So if you're playing in an Helsing against the Dracula, make sure to be undercovered and make sure not to be on a hilly terrain. And if you're playing with the Dracula against an Helsing, make sure to bring him onto an hilly terrain and also circle it if you have the possibility. Now let's take a look from the Helsing point of view on a map that is advantageous for those tanks. Simply because on this map here, okay, you can use your gun depression, but most of the time Draculas will have to play it as peekaboo and not with gun depression, as it's a pretty flat map, especially when you go on the medium side, which is exactly where we are going because, let's face it, those are Draculas, so they're gonna play on the medium side. It's at their advantage. Here, the thing that is mainly gonna troll me, and you're gonna see in the replay, it's probably the fact that it's a 2 auto-loading gun, and therefore, as it's a 2 shots, you will probably penetrate the first one, and the second one is gonna go in the sky, probably touching the sun or something. As you can see, I played really aggressively because I thought, you know what, we need someone to spot for my team. And I thought, okay, I know how to spot most of the time. I know how to play aggressively without dying, even if sometimes it happens for those of you who are following my streams. But I thought I need to spot for my team. Those are Helsing, and most of them will think they are tank destroyers and they need to camp and they're gonna stay in the back. That's why I tried to spot for them, and for the moment it's working pretty effectively because we are ripping apart those tanks, except we do it one shot out of two because of our terrible gun accuracy with the second shot. But hey, at least we are having some fun and we can see how the tank performs on flat terrain. And you're gonna see how huge of a difference it makes when the Helsing is playing on a flat terrain. We don't have to move from our position because the Helsing is stronger when you only show your gun mantlet. That's why nobody's pushing. We are waiting for them to do one mistake. They have the mobility. That's why they have to move and they have to get to the first move. But if they do that, oh boy, are they gonna get wrecked. Here, for example, the Dracula that tried to run away got a smiley shot straight into his face. And now that we see them running around and being splitted, I thought, okay, that's my chance. I'm gonna push that Dracula, which is alone, in order for me to allow myself to get some kills and to unblock the situation, because for the moment all the Helsing and I were camping. So here we go, I go on the first Dracula and we get the first kill from the game. We destroyed the Dracula before he managed to circle me, and now I'm going back. As you can see by the lookout on the map, it makes all those Helsing more comfortable about pushing, and they are going in. And as they are going in, after we destroy literally all the HPs of those Dracula, it's nearly a guaranteed win. There is one of them that is pushing, but I don't care. I penetrate 2 shots, he bounced, unfortunately for him and luckily for me. I'm gonna destroy him because he locked himself by trying to focus me only instead of escaping, which allowed us to get our second kill. Now we just have to finish the rests because it's literally over for them. I mean, we have a better DPM than them, we also have more armor, and they are not on an advantageous terrain, so it's easy for us to just get those kills. There is the last one Dracula remaining there. He's probably not aiming at me, and boom, we destroyed the guy. And as you can see, what you can learn about those two games, for the Dracula I already talked about it, before the Helsing now. What you need to understand with the Helsing is that as long as you're on a flat terrain and you can show only, or at least mostly only, your gun mantlet, you should have good games. And that's what I really wanted to teach you on those 7 versus 7 tanks. It allows me to really show you the strength of the tank against their biggest enemy. So that's all I have to say. That's all I have to say about the Helsing. I hope, even if it's in training rooms, it will teach you a little bit how to play those tanks and how to be comfortable with them. If you enjoyed, feel free to subscribe, like and share, and tell me in the comments, it's important, tell me in the comments what 7 versus 7 tanks you want to see in this series, and I'm gonna try to do my best to satisfy my audience. My name is Pantoufleee, and you're watching Pantoufleee on Blitz. See ya, guys.